I'm not going to look at my screen and just chat for a bit while some stuff is on my mind, like you're in the car with me. Um, so I appreciate your comments, but hope you can understand that I'm not going to be reading them. um, so the Spokane market right now, very interesting because what's happened as I mean, when I first started in real estate, it was such a heavy seller's market. Like this is 6-ish years ago. It was such a heavy seller's market that there was like no room for negotiation at the beginning. It was a good way to get into a home at that point. But nevertheless, at this point in the market, we're not there. um, Most of the time, when I'm looking at a home with a buyer, there's no offers on the table. But it also means on the listing side, I have more listings than I've ever had in my career, and I think most agents are kind of experiencing that right now, where they have a lot of listings, and not a lot of them are selling. So, in some sense, this seems like, well, we got to make sure that our marketing is on point. We need to make sure that we're um, getting the most use out of our time and marketing dollars. So, if we have to take longer to get on the market, that may be for the best if it means that we take our time to get the pictures right, the videos right, and get all the traffic that we can to the house. But at the end of the day, uh, the house has to be desired in the market, and there's a certain price point that is going to be taken up off the market. So if you can do a search, and this is something I'll do with my listings too. So as they're on the market, I do a search in the neighborhood, which is basically what you do before they're on the market too. But just to give kind of a context to what it looks like while you're waiting for a house to get sold, um, is on the listing side. I'm looking at the map of home sales in Spokane for homes that have like a very similar spec to my target house. And I'm looking to see what price points or what's happening in like a 30 to 60 day range. So what I'm seeing is like a house I was just working on a second ago over on Hoffman. There are like 5 houses that seemed like they were good comps, like really like spot on comps. Um, and make sure I'm getting over this ambulance here. So there were like 5 really good comps for this neighborhood. 3 of them were active. No, two of them were active. 2 sold. No, sorry, 1 sold and 2 pending. That's what it was. So I was like really trying to narrow it down to only the ones that were like really specific to this house. Um, Partially just because I want to know what's happening out there in the market. If I made it broader, you'll see like it was mostly active homes. Like in the greater set of homes in that neighborhood, there's probably about 30 of them, and maybe 5 were pending. Um, so you'll start to notice that like the further you go down, the quicker they start to get taken off the market in terms of price point, which makes sense because the interest rates are so high right now that buyers are still having a hard time getting into homes at the price points that they want. Um, but conversely, it means that gives buyers a lot of leeway right now when it comes to uh, being able to negotiate, because there's no other buyers on the table for the most part. So if you're looking to get into a home right now is the time to do it, whether that's me as your realtor or not. Like if you can pre-qualify for a home, talk to a lender. I got some good recommendations for you. Let me know. Um, one of the things that is really remarkably different from when I started is, when I started, just for contrast, I'd call on a home and find out we got 15 offers on a house, and that was nuts, right? But we made it work. Now we're calling and there's no other offers on a house. So I'm at a stoplight. So I've been in Spokane for my whole life, and then my favorite thing to do in Spokane, I mean, be with my family. um, but in Spokane, me and my wife love to go try different restaurants and stuff like that when we get a chance. And then we have our favorite like little walking hiking spots that we can take our kids to. Hey everybody else. Hey Andrew. Hey Felix. Um, for but yeah, for the buyers right now, there is no competition. So it gives you the liberty. I mean, not to be rude to sellers, but you could basically make an offensive offer, and the seller would still be inclined to listen to you if you were to come back. So what I mean is, like, say there was this, just picking a number out of thin air. Say this is house for 500,000. You could make an offer for 450, like 50K lower than the asking price. Um, and back in the day when I started, like, you'd make that offer and you'd never hear from the seller again because they'd already be on to the other offers that they could sift through to see what would work for them. And in those days, that meant they were looking at offers that were like 520. But now, like, okay, you can make that first offer, and then the seller is going to be more inclined to listen to you if you decide to come back. They can reject your offer, of course, but they're going to be much more likely to listen to you or try to negotiate to you to find some terms that work. Um, if you're throwing out offers that, or if you're just throwing out offers in general, because like there's no other game in town essentially. Um, so it's worth it to make the offer that you just can. So what I like to say is when you're looking at a home, when you're touring a home, make the offer that makes sense for you. Don't worry about like if for one, if like you're really worried about missing out on the home and this house is a 10 out of 10 or 11 out of 10, and you're like, you know what, this house just means so much to me. Yeah, okay, maybe don't make the outlandish offer below asking price. But for most people that are finding a few houses that hit that 7 to 8 range, we need to make offers that feel right to us because now we have leverage. So, and sometimes that means like, let's just make an offer that's lower than the might feel comfortable at the moment. But we don't want to. We want to avoid remorse. We don't want to buy a house and then regret it the next day. So we need to find that range of where's the price point that makes me feel good about this house. Of course, it has to be a win-win for the buyer and for the seller, and there's ways to work in terms often that make sense for all parties. Um, but yeah, I just there's a lot of opportunity for buyers to get out there and be creative that just weren't available before. So if you're looking for ways, and there's options, by the way, if you have a house to sell and to purchase, this is where it can get a lot more complicated and tricky. Because at one level, you have to maintain the value in your home that you're selling, so you can't just like take whatever offer because you have to make the next house work. And also on the purchase, it's likely that you're going to have. I mean, if you bought a house in the last 3, 4, 5 years or earlier, you're going to have a really good interest rate. So in order to make the next house work, now we have to figure out how to actually afford the next home. That's going to be done by partially the money that you're getting from the last house. Um, Sorry, I am from Brazil, but I live in NC. Cool. Well, nice to have you on the Spokane channel. And hello, everybody else that's still here. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's just so much opportunity out there for buyers to make something work, to make something happen in the Spokane market. It's just incredible. Um, so even though the interest rates are pushing it a little bit, and the payments are uncomfortable. They just are. If you can swing it though, the other terms might be more favorable, and that tends to happen on the inverse side when the interest rates become more favorable. And what I hear, I'm not an economist, but what I hear from people that study the economy is that 5% interest rate is where the market likes to stabilize at. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get back to the fives at some point. I don't think anybody's in a rush for that. At least the people that control those things. um, I'm kind of hoping that we softly start heading toward the fives. Um, it'd be crazy if it drops and then people would get into a buying frenzy again. That'd be nuts. So getting around these potholes. Welcome to Spokane. Potholes everywhere. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. That's what I'm seeing in the market right now, whether you're a buyer or a seller. It's an interesting time to be sure, and it's a great time to buy. And if you're a seller, it's a great time to be very strategic about how you put your listings together. Anyway, you guys keep it cool and reach out if you have any questions about real estate in Spokane. Thank you so much for watching all my content, and you guys are very encouraging and supportive. Have a wonderful day.